Today I'm chatting with Scott DeGrossier, and I hope I pronounced that right. Scott is the founder and CEO of Wicked Reports, and we talk about the real massive marketing growth. We get into the long purchase window most brands ignore, the scale, chill, or kill framework, and why mastering one channel beats dabbling in 10. This conversation is quick, practical, and very de-jargoned. Let's jump in. Hey, Scott. How you doing today?
Having a good Tuesday. How about you, Flora?
Yeah, yeah, it's been a great day. I'm not going to try to say your last name. Will you enlighten me? Will you introduce yourself and teach me how to say your last name?
Sure. I'm Scott DeGrossier. Very easy. A lot of extra letters you don't need there. It's French for maker of the king. It's gooseberries in French. We were gooseberry winemakers.
So
So
cool.
kind of neat. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm founder and CEO of Wicked Reports. We're a marketing attribution platform for e-com brands, 5 million to 50 mil, and the agencies that support them.
Okay. Hold on. Layman's terms. Talk. You meet a 5-year-old on the street. What do you do?
We find out when you see ads on whether they work or not, whether they make people money.
Wow, cool. And how'd you get into that?
I get into that because a friend of mine was selling lobsters online from Maine, either live or frozen. You can actually ship them live with dry ice, which is pretty barbaric, but it happens. And he spent 4 grand on Facebook and only made one sale. This was like 2014, 13 maybe. He's like, Facebook's terrible for lobster. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, it seems like it's going pretty well for a lot of people right now. How do you know it didn't work? And he's told me, I blew 4 grand. So I said, well, you send a lot of good emails. Are you sure that maybe they don't buy later on? He's like, no. And I said, well, I was running the databases at apartments.com at the time. And I was like, oh, let me see if I can just install some software as a little side thing real quick. And there was nothing there for, he's an e-com at the time. He was $2 million. So there was nothing. Everything was exorbitantly priced and there wasn't a lot there. And so I hacked something together and we tested out people that liked the Red Sox or the Patriots, the sport teams in New England, but weren't living in New England. And I did this whole convoluted tracking system. And lo and behold, he broke even when he ran the ads. But if we look 90 days later, he actually was making 10 to 1, all the delayed conversions. So his mind exploded and he spends, 40, 50K a month minimum in his business, like 12, 13 mil. So, and it was all like
What
ads.
a love story that is. A lobster love story.
Lobster love story. Yeah, that's how it all got going.
Okay, so you see his successes and you're like, I might be onto something. I'm pretty good at this.
Well, I see him and it was fun. It was like I had decided, my talent, I guess, is solving puzzles with data. It's like I enjoy doing that. It's like my favorite thing to do. And I wasn't really doing it. I was doing it at work some, but not enough to be really excited. And I was like, man, this was such like a puzzle to piece all this together. And so a guy at Infusionsoft heard about it, which is now then got bought, changed to Keep, and then it became Thrive. But at the time, Infusionsoft was a pretty big deal in internet marketing. And he had me on his mastermind, and I sold like 30 grand in pivot tables to a couple people
What
to
is a
do it
pivot
for him.
table?
A pivot table is an Excel. It's a table of data where you can add and remove columns and it'll reformat itself. So I create these pivot tables that reported on how people were doing on their marketing. And I did the same project for him. And then I was like, the more I did it, the more I realized I needed like tools to make it easier. And then I needed this and that. And then I was like, I think I have a consultant business. And then I was like, wait a minute, I think I have a software business. And so then I launched it, and it all worked out,
And is Wicked just because you're from Massachusetts and people say Wicked out there?
Yeah, well, I mean, wicked good is a lot better than good. So
Yeah.
good reports are like lame, but wicked good reports. Then I took out the good and just did wicked reports. Yeah, I wanted something like unique and New England, a homage to New England.
No, I love it. So how's business going for you now?
Business is going good. We've got we've innovated some really cool things where we have AI that will automatically analyze your data for you using all the right rules and regulations of attribution, which there are a lot, unfortunately.
Mm.
And yeah, we're growing steadily, and
Awesome.
we've been doing this a long time, so we kind of know what we're doing. So that part's
What's a
gone.
long time?
9 years, 10 years, 11. Wait a minute, 11 years, 10 years.
So then how did, when the chat GPT boom, right? When AI really became like a household, everyone was when knowingly using AI at this point. How did that shift your business?
Well, at first I thought, wow, this is going to solve all our problems. I'm going to export the data, upload it. It's going to tell us magical things. It did tell us magical things. It just kind of made them up. Did a lot of hallucination. It would recommend raising ad spend on campaigns that didn't actually exist. So that was an interesting one.
Were you terrified when that was your experience? Were you reading this information like, oh my gosh, people are actually going to believe this is the truth?
Well, I was sad because it looked like so helpful and it wasn't. And then all the different questions you'd have to ask correctly and in the correct order to get the true insight. Because otherwise, it would just, I don't know how into digital marketing you are, but your branded campaigns tend to make the most money because that's when people already know who you are. They're the bottom of the funnel. They're ready to buy and they type in like Wicked Reports buy, and then they go to our website and hit our ad. Well, the AI would just automatically always want you to scale those because they were making the most money, but that's because all the hard work of marketing
It's
been
already been done. Yeah.
so there was a lot, getting 80% there was fast, but then we realized not to use ChatGPT, but also the last 20% to get it like foolproof took a long time. We'll get
Okay.
to that.
So how are you using, what is you wake up, what does your day-to-day look like these days?
The day-to-day for a Wicked Reports user or for Scott personally?
For Scott personally.
For Scott personally, I use ChatGPT to save time. So I mean, well, like today's day, what did I do? We had a marketing status call where we worked out some strategy we're gonna do.
Exciting.
And we talked about the AI discoverability of our website needs tagging, the tags to be updated.
Yeah.
And so we've already generated a bunch of those. So we're
Already
deciding.
today, right?
So like, are we going to put it on the current site? Or are we going to refresh the messaging and then put it on the new site? So that's a debate we're having Friday to decide.
Okay.
I was on a story workshop, which is an agile scrum process where
Cool.
you talk about whether or not you're going to build certain ideas or not, and if so,
Okay.
initial concerns or risks. So we sorted out stuff there. I did one other thing. What was the other thing? Oh, I decided I was going to write the new onboarding email series, so I started percolating on that.
How's that looking?
I'm psyched because CEO, you don't only get to do like practical stuff that gets put in the system, but our
Okay.
team has got a couple big projects they're working on, so no one can really do it. But we've overhauled our entire training and I absolutely love it. It's like
Awesome.
finally plug and play training.
Great. Congrats.
That's quick. Everything's like 2 to 5 minutes and it's like
And
fancy animations, but only because it helps you learn and it's like it moves quickly. It's not like me talking about attribution for 20 minutes.
is that internal training or training for your
It's
your
for our customers.
customers? Cool.
So we're going to deploy it out. Right now it's sitting on a help page. So technically you get there, but I mean, I don't know who would just wander around help docs, but now we're going to actually enable it. And I was like, geez, no one can really write them for 2 weeks. I think I'm going to sneak off and write them today.
Exciting.
So that's my day.
Did you use AI to write
I
them?
have not used AI I don't think I will. I want my voice for
Yeah.
that.
No, I love it. So who is your customer?
It is digital marketing agencies and brands. And the sweet spot is 5 million to 50 million in annual revenue
Yeah.
because that's where you're doing multiple channels. Things are confusing. Technology can make a big difference in your business, and you don't have bigger fish to fry when you're smaller. Sometimes, hey, for under 1 million, you got to like get an offer that works. Actually, just sell more stuff somehow. It's not like in the data. You have to like just learn how to sell more of your stuff. But when you're
And you're
trying to scale, you need the data because the platforms mislead you, not usually on purpose, sometimes on purpose, but sometimes they're just not built to instruct you the way we are.
well, so how long did it take you to really find your sweet spot with your customers?
Oh, geez, I went through a bunch of iterations because first we were just Infusionsoft, which doesn't even exist anymore. It was a
Okay.
CRM and a shopping cart. It had a lot of influencers, and Digital Marketer was a humongous influencer 10 years ago.
Okay.
They like everything revolved around them, and they were our 10th customer, and they had events, and they used Infusionsoft. So it was this huge community that all did the same stuff. So it was actually kind of easy to get to 1 million because it was like is all the same use case over and over again.
Okay.
When we started to fray, then you get then you start to fray because you're like, wait a minute, this person has like 10-step funnel, and this one's using LinkedIn. It's hard to use LinkedIn with our platform. And oh crap, why do we sell to this one? Just because they were going to pay us a lot, but they don't have anyone that's going to look at the data. So it's all these, you slowly learn more as you go about what the real good fit is, right? At the beginning, you just get to sell stuff and learn. And then you figure out, oh, wait a minute, this is who I should really be serving because they're the ones that are really happy when they use the software.
Yeah.
So, and that was just kind of like this, because then, I mean, we have brands that are 9 and 10 figures, some, not a lot. We don't focus on them because then if they're doing TV or they're a household brand, there's a specific type of measurement where you got to measure like in-store sales and how much did a TV spot increase the sales in like your Ohio branch of at the mall. And that's like a whole different approach than what we do. We handle click-based and view-based for, 5 to 50 million being our sweet spot.
How does an agency know they need you?
Well, a lot of times it'll be that the in-platform return on ad spend looks very rosy, particularly on retargeting or in Meta Advantage Plus campaigns, but the top line revenue growth or new customers aren't showing up. And that's because Meta's AI, you give it a job, find more customers, and it keeps learning and thinking, wow, these people that already bought before buy a lot faster than this cold traffic.
Yeah.
So our expertise is lifetime value back to top of the funnel, which is the hardest thing to get done. So that's why we specialize on it. But it's also drives the most growth because anyone can figure out bottom of the funnel. They're already like excited and want to buy and they're in market, but finding new eyeballs and getting them to where they're in your middle funnel is the toughest thing a marketer can do. And so that's why we focus there because it solves a big pain point. So
Well,
when you're
can you?
struggling with the not the I'm just let me
Yeah.
sorry, let's say one more thing on that. Sorry to cut you off there. So if your new customers aren't growing, your business isn't growing, but the stats look great, it's because you're not getting new customers and new eyeballs. And we
Yeah.
have specific proprietary methods for determining that, measuring it, and then instructing you on how to fix it.
Well, and I appreciate you reiterating that because you've said it a few different times in a few different ways, right? Like, and our listeners here are people that might dabble a little bit of AI and people that are like building their own LLMs, right? So it kind of varies, right? So a lot of them are small business owners. And when they hear, not everyone knows like what a top of funnel is, right? And so this is your like, you live it, you breathe it, but break that down a little bit more to those who aren't familiar with it. And then specifically, you've really reiterated this idea of people in the bottom of the funnel. Yeah, those are your easy lifts. Those are your audience. But talk to us a little bit more about that process.
Sure. So just a simple marketing funnel for an e-commerce, top of the funnel would be I'm trying to find new people to become aware I exist and that I have a product they want.
Yeah.
And then a middle funnel would be, can we get them in on the product pages or hopefully adding something to cart? I mean, obviously you want them to buy, but the middle funnel would be, hey, they're not buying, but they agreed to join our CRM, our mail system to get a coupon or a deal so we can email and SMS them now.
Yeah.
And then bottom of the funnel is they're at the cart or they're buying. And so those three things are three distinct things you should measure. They're distinct strategies, ways to talk to people. And then bottom of the funnel or repurchase is, they've already bought once, get them to buy again.
Yeah.
So as a marketer, when you're in a marketing platform, the Meta, Google, Pinterest, they all want you to spend more money. That's why they
Of course.
exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, they care about you. They want you to spend more money. That's what they want. And so that's what everything is designed to do, get you to spend more money. And that being said, they're incredible growth engines, so they're very helpful. But they skew towards trying to get quick sales fast because that's what people like. But a lot of products take a longer, particularly if you're selling something over even $100, there's a longer
Yeah.
consideration time, I should say. Like we have a women's underwear brand that is 62 days average from new visit to first purchase. And they're
Wow.
murdering it. They're like tens of millions, but it's a 62-day average. And that's underwear. It's not like, oh, what do I need to do? Do I need underwear? Yeah, of course you do. You're on the site. But like it's fancy, it's healthy, it's good looking, whatever. I don't know. So I'm not buying it. I'm not the market. So that's just an underwear 62 days. So anyone listening, like they probably have from the time someone first hears about them to buy, it's a while. And so but when you start finding these people that have bought over and over again, and they're really valuable over time, like our most valuable customer is like $90,000. So then I'm like, geez, how did we first get them aware of us, and how do we move them along to where they talk to the sales team and got a demo? Because that's the repeatable stuff marketing has to do. And so our marketing, what we do, and I'll get into how we use AI for that. I know you're AI focused here, but
Well, I'm small business focused.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. They're also AI because I saw the AI in the
Definitely. We work with the small business owners, and we, empower them through AI and for their sales and marketing. But, on these podcasts, I like to get to know, the story of kind of what brought you into your business. And then, obviously AI is typically a part of that these days. It's
yes.
2025, almost 2026. So I do love learning how people use AI or how they don't use AI and how their customers use it or they don't. But at the end of the day, I'm most interested in your story and how you came about with your business and, your customer journey and your members and your
Oh,
customer.
cool.
Yeah.
So my apologies for just not following that, not realizing that fully, but thank you. So this whole top of the funnel 60-day thing, like, because people will log in and they would think it was a bug because they wouldn't be spending money on something. We might report like 50, 60 sales from it. These are brands that do like 5,000 sales a month or whatever. And they'd be like, hey, there's a bug. I'm not spending. You showed 50 sales. Well, like, yeah, well, they clicked when you were spending and now they just bought on email or a text. And so we're letting you know that this paid is how they got on the email list to begin with, or the text. That's how they got on there.
Full picture. It's
Full picture.
not piece by piece. You are really looking at the whole marketing story for them, the whole marketing and sales journey for them.
Correct. And over, I see it's top of the funnel where the money needs to be. And there's the patient. That's where you need the right measurement. Obviously, I'm into that because we do measurement, and that's what
Yeah.
people buy us for. But then when you and your competitor are both looking like the underwear person, and they're both looking, I don't know what they're targeting to be. Obviously females. Maybe that's not a good example. Maybe if you're trying to sell benches, and so you're trying to decide, okay, because there's another company doing really well on Pinterest that sells benches that I just looked at. That's can you Pinterest here. Well, there's a certain category of people, some age and some demographic in some area of the country that buy expensive benches more than others. But if you were to
that information.
what's that?
How do you find that information right there?
Well, their customer data. So when they buy, they've got all their customer data, and then they can augment it from all these sources.
Cool.
And so they get that, and then they update their targeting. But if you don't have the measurement of the long time, so you're looking at this like, oh, there's 62 days to buy. Well, your competitor looking in Pinterest will just see people that buy within 30 days, according to Pinterest. And then people in Wiki Report see people that might take 90 days, 120 days to buy. But every time they buy, we keep giving all this credit back to Pinterest. So you can see the longer sales cycles and the additional value. So you bid on those people because you know how valuable they are and that they buy, and the person in the platform can't tell, so they're going to get sick and get tired of it and move on because it doesn't look profitable to them. So that's the edge.
What a reminder and like a testimony of patience.
Yeah, it is. No one likes, hey, 60 days later, it's going to be great. Like, that doesn't sell, but it's reality.
But also, like, if any marketing professional needs, influence on, to take to their bosses of like, no, here's the return on sales. Like, this is a great podcast for them to listen to because, what a reminder that is that it's like, no, it is very much a long play or it can't
No,
be.
you can prove your value of the top of funnel work, because otherwise, if you've got a client and they're antsy, then you got to worry about bottom of the funnel and quick wins. But then they're like, well, you're reporting all this. It's a double-edged sword. You're reporting all this great stuff, but my revenue isn't actually growing and my new customers are increasing.
Yeah.
Well, in order to do that, we need the 60-day plan. And 60 days is from the first touch point. So we really need like 120 because we need 60 days. Then we need all 60 days of first clicks to have 60 days to convert.
Wow.
Well, love the people that are strategic like that make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Can do it.
So what do you recommend to small business owners, to business owners, to really track that information?
So, what do you define as small business? Because I was on with an ad platform 2 days ago. Their version of small business is 25 to 100 million. I was like, that seems pretty good sized.
Whatever you consider it, whatever filter you take it from.
Yeah, because I'm flexible with it. Whatever people need it to be, I'll filter the information accordingly. So, if you're a small business doing like a couple $100,000, the best thing you can do for tracking, you should just be worried about one channel, not trying to do 10 different channels of advertising,
Really? Why?
because you've got to master the way one channel converts first, because they convert
Wow.
differently. So if you're frantically like, oh my God, I got to do 85 channels, and then you spread let's say your budget's like, I don't know, maybe 5 grand, you're doing 1,000 a piece on each channel. Each channel isn't getting enough data to help optimize.
Cool.
So you got to pick one.
No,
It could be any.
that's so important. Cool. Thank you for that.
And
Okay.
so the one you should pick is the one that you like the best and that you think your buyers are on.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
there's no foolproof way to, because you might be like, I know my buyers are on Google and they're doing search. Well, search is a game where you can't just be dabbling and also running a business because it's very competitive.
Hmm.
Price per click is, I don't know, it depends on the industry, but I mean,
Yeah.
minimum $4 a click,
Yeah.
minimum. So if you're spending like a grand in a month, $4 a click, you're not gonna, what are you gonna get 250 clicks to try and make your business grow? That's gonna be very challenging,
Wow.
I think. So you gotta strategically pick where you try to win in one spot.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay. What else?
So then as you scale, once you get like above 1 million, once you have an offer that works, once you're like, man, when I show people my offer, if it's an e-commerce thing, I know it works. Or if I have this lead magnet, I know a lot of people opt in at a cheap rate, and then my email series converts enough of them that I have a steadily growing business. That's when you can start saying, okay, now I want to scale, increase the ad spend. And that's when you have to either hire someone or spend a lot of your time looking at paid advertising to help get the growth. Either paid advertising or partnerships or whatever it is, you got to find that lever and just double or triple down on that one lever that's growing. And then as you get to 7 figures or low 7 figures, then you expand into multiple channels. That's when something like Wicked Reports becomes valuable because you're going to get all this conflicting info from the ad
Yeah.
platforms, all saying they're making you rich. And it could just be that good old email sequence you had is still working well, and all the ad platforms are taking credit. So that's when you need to have your measurement game in order, is as you get to like, 2 million or so.
And what would you say is one of the biggest mistakes you see with your customers with their funnels?
Too much bottom of the funnel focus, even though they hire us for top of the funnel. They obsess over very short now. People can have a lot of success from short-term return on ad spend if they're spending at high volumes and they have the meta algorithm. If you have enough, like if you're getting 50 sales a day on Meta, so you're probably spending a couple $1,000s a day, then you can focus on a really short-term cycle because Meta has so much data, it can optimize really well for you. And then we come in and help show which one becomes high lifetime value so you can put the pedal to the metal.
Wow.
But when you have less sales than that, which is common also, particularly if you're running a lot of ad groups and like hundreds of ads or what have you, then it becomes trickier because you got to then try to find which message is working to which targeting. And so then it becomes more strategic where you look at the data and it's teaching you where to stop spending, where you're wasting money and where to just try to put, because it's 80-20 rule, usually 20% will be winners. So you got to go in with that mindset too, right? You can't be like, oh, I got an ad, I'm going to be rich. Takes
No,
a lot of iterations.
and what's so clear to me speaking to you is the importance of talking to someone who's a professional in this space. Like, this is not something that people should really just try to figure out on their own if this is not their wheelhouse, because
We have a team of 25 people. I've been doing this for 11 years. I have patents pending in it. It's hairy. Now, we'll get to the AI in a minute, which makes it less hairy, but there's a lot of ways to go wrong with measurement. And if you think you can dabble and just the straight Occam's razor path of, I'm just going to track clicks and match up to sales, it's going to be fine. Good luck.
wow.
I would have
Wow.
been done 10 years ago. I would already been had a finished product 10 years ago. There's a lot of work and like, did you put the tracking on the landing page? Did you put the right UTMs on the ads? the sale, the time, the lag it takes. We track clicks and we don't know who they are. We hold on to them and then look each day. We check, do we know this person? Okay, now go back in time and figure out what we know might have been them. There's a lot of gory tech.
So when you said earlier that when AI came out, you realized like, okay, this is wrong, and then you really had to learn to work with it. What does it look like for you now? What is your day to day use case with AI these days?
So now if customers are using our AI, they're getting everything, all the potential in their data has been realized and sent to them. And we distill it down to each campaign is you should either scale, chill, or kill.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah, so it's one word. Or technically there's a fourth category, observing, which means don't do anything yet. We're still checking things out. So scale is spend more. Kill means you better fix something or else you're going to keep hemorrhaging money. And
Yeah.
chill is a nice one, I think, which means at your current budget, you can just chill out, leave it alone, and tackle the other 85 things you got to do.
Yeah. Okay. So then how does that evolve for you?
So how it evolved was from the AI project, we uploaded all the CSVs and said, geez, AI's, it's artificial intelligence. I don't think it's advanced intelligence, at least when it comes to attribution, because there's time involved and there's measuring the right way. There's all these rules we had to bake in. And then we realized, well, how we want to measure it depends on what your intention is of the campaign. Because if you're trying to find new customers, we only want to measure if you got the new customers, we got to ignore the repeat customers. And if you're doing cold traffic to eventually convert, then we don't want to measure the warm traffic.
Yeah.
And so we have all this measurement built, but we realize that what you intend to do determines what attribution model you should use, which attribution model is the score, how you want to keep score. It's like a sport. There's offense and defense, use different stats. Same thing with attribution. There's like a bunch of different teams you can keep ways of keeping score. So the way to keep score is based on the intention. And then based on your costs and stuff, you can pay different amounts for different things. Like your new customer, maybe you can pay $100. Repeat customer, maybe you only want to pay 30. Cold traffic, maybe you can pay X per click. And so you punch this in, and then our AI, I basically created a framework of measurement. And the AI has been trained up forever on it. So now it knows how to run it like as if I was going through the account and spending like 2 hours. It just spits out the answers. So it's great peace of mind now that I know if people set up our AI right, they're getting our full value. They may or may not like the answers, but it is what we believe you should. They normally like it, but it's now like it's like me virtually analyzing the account, me and my product team. Yeah.
And I imagine I mean, I don't want to assume anything, but since it's not you, I mean, you have put the legwork into having this AI, but I mean, does this save your customers? I mean,
2 hours a day.
Does it save them money? Like, what does that look like?
Saves them time and money because you generally always have kill to do. Because if you're testing, you have stuff that's kill. But the kill might mean, kill actually means diagnose and improve it. And if you've run out of things to try to improve, then kill it. So we suggest what to improve based on what the data is telling us. It could be like your conversion rate's low, your click rate's low, something in your stats is telling us where the problem is. And so we tell you what the problem is and give you the stats to back up what the problem is. Like, hey, no one's clicking on this ad. It stinks. Well, we can't nicer than that. Or, wow, you have a lot of customers, but their AOV is really low. So you're not making any money because you're paying 80, but they're only spending 60. Something like that. So
I hear you. So I mean, we all know, I mean, the grandma down my street knows that AI is evolving by the second, right? So you said that you like feel good about your AI right now. How are you keeping it updated and how are you training it? And what do you see kind of the evolution of it looking like for you guys?
we have we worked directly with Amazon's AI team. And so we have a pretty sophisticated architecture where we can inject immediate changes if we hear from people give us feedback, thumbs up, thumbs down, and or commentary about their recommendations. So if we get a couple thumbs down and we're like, oh crap, this is like something's off, we know right where to go tune it, and then we can push it out to everyone or just to that client.
Yeah.
But the other thing with AI was interesting is that it doesn't understand time well. So we had to really bake in a lot of time logic so that it understood time. I don't know how else to describe it. And so we have people tell us how long they think it takes a customer to buy. And then once we have enough data, we update it with we can update it with the correct number. And then that time frame helps us run the measurement. Because if you're selling like a car online, people don't generally click and buy a car in one day.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they don't. And so that lag time, we had to teach AI not to think that that's what happened because it would see sales and it doesn't, it's not like it just magically, not like Lawnmower Man, the movie. I don't know if you watched that. It's not like it just figures everything out. It's got to learn. And then sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it just can't, it's like a human brain. So you can learn, you have a natural talent for certain things and not for others. AI is not good with time. At least it isn't yet in our field. So we have
Yeah.
a lot of guardrails around keeping it accurate, its results accurate. We have like checks and balances to make sure it didn't make mistakes.
So where do you see your business being in about a year?
Let's see. Well, I think we're going to be more we're going to be more heavily AI, where we're going to be suggesting specific creative fixes. I know that.
In what ways?
Um, so we'll say like, hey, when you show a woman in the ad, it converts better than a man, or whatever, or when you have red, it's better than blue. I'm not a creative ad person. Whatever it is they do, we're gonna figure that out. Uh, so where I see it is that it's really it's like a self-healing marketing. It'll heal your marketing. It'll give you all the things you need to improve your paid marketing.
Cool.
Constantly like monitoring and fixing it because we're doing a lot of that now and there's more we can do and then eventually it'll kind of like help everywhere.
Wow. And this all started because of your friend's lobster company.
Yeah, it did.
Cool. Well, right on. Cool. Okay. So if someone comes to your website, what are they going to find? What do you want them to find?
I want them to go and click on the demos link in the top right, the nav, because it has you don't have to then talk to anyone yet. It's got very
Perfect.
fast, yeah, it has very fast walkthroughs of different pain points that our ideal customers have.
There we go.
So when you see those pain points, feel like, oh, I got that pain point, and you're spending, at least 15 grand a month in ads, and you see the pain point, you can go see how we fix it. And then if you're like, ooh, I like that, then you should talk to someone. And if not, you shouldn't. You're not a fit. So it'll
Yeah.
save you time.
Fair. Cool. Well, Scott, thanks for talking to me today.
Yeah, this is fun.
I kind of see you as this like data AI mad scientist.
That fits.
Yeah, yeah, that's my perspective. So, it's always fun for me to jump in and people get to like excited about high level, and I love breaking it down. So thank you for taking the time and breaking it down with me today. And I think what you and your company are doing is really cool, and it's definitely leaving me with lots of things to think about after this call. So I hope that's the case for our listeners. And best of luck to you guys, and let's stay in touch. And I'd love to see kind of where you guys evolve into.
Thank you so much for having me on the show, Flora. You have a good day.
Take care. Ciao.